Today's Liverpool news brings you 4 big stories. Michael Owen has spoken, and what he said about Alexander Isak is something every Liverpool fan needs to hear. He's also made a fickle prediction involving Mohamed Salah. And finally, one Liverpool star has made a humble confession: I was too afraid to spend money. Let's dive in and find out all the big stories from today's Liverpool news. Michael Owen makes Alexander Isak and Mohamed Salah point in fickle Liverpool prediction. Former Liverpool striker Michael Owen has tipped Mohamed Salah and Alexander Isak to succeed at Anfield as he remains relaxed about the Reds' current form. Arne Slot faces his toughest period in charge of the club after their defeat at Chelsea forced them to settle for second place going into the international break. Esteveo's strike inflicted a third straight defeat for Liverpool, and it was another late goal conceded, a second in as many matches after Eddie Nketiah's stoppage time effort ensured Crystal Palace claimed the points. The Reds sit 1 point behind Arsenal and return to top-flight action against Manchester United. The pressure is rising on the defending champions following their summer of spending, with scrutiny surrounding their new signings and starman, Mohamed Salah, after below-par performances this season. Owen has dismissed the mini-crisis that Liverpool are enduring and believes a win will silence the critics. The former Red striker also discussed under-fire duo Isak and Salah, after claims that the arrival of the Swede has impacted the star winger. It's interesting with Liverpool, if we spoke before the defeats, we'd be saying, what a fantastic start, 5 out of 5 wins in the Premier League, 1 out of 1 in the Champions League, he said, speaking to the Echo via casino.co.uk. After 3 defeats, suddenly it almost feels like a mini-crisis, or at least that's what people are labeling it. It just shows how fickle football is and how quick it can change. They've just got to make sure that they win their next game and bounce out of it, and then people will focus on something else again. In terms of their forwards, going through them individually. Mo Salah's obviously not going through his best of patches now, but you can never write him off. He's still fit and healthy and injury-free and been top of his game for years. There's no doubt, surely in anybody's mind, that he'll be banging him in again soon. Cody Gakpo was playing well, and did show some good signs last season, too. As for Hugo Ekitike, he's probably been my pick of the bunch in terms of the new signings. I think he's done very well. Alexander Isak is coming back after not really having a preseason, so he's coming in and out of the starting 11 to try and get sharp and fit. If I was putting a fan's hat on, I'd be relaxed overall. I'd be obviously disappointed with the Chelsea defeat, but Stamford Bridge is a tough place to go, it's never easy. I certainly can't remember ever winning there as a player. That game could have gone either way, and it's not like Liverpool are playing badly. I wouldn't be as hot and bothered as some people are about it. Alexander Isak doesn't have to worry about what I went through at Liverpool. There are only a handful of footballers who will know what Alexander Isak is feeling. TV revenues have transformed the English game, making the Premier League the envy of domestic competitions around the world and allowing its club to spend like never before. Indeed, the £3.19 billion shelled out by top-flight teams this summer smashed the previous record of £2.46 billion set in 2023. But it is still rare for the British transfer record for an individual transfer record to be broken, which is what Liverpool did on deadline day when they signed Isak in a blockbusting £125 million deal from Newcastle United. Indeed, it was only the 12th time in the past 30 years that it has happened. However, the rise in the record fee set has been incredible. Rewind back to 1995 and Liverpool were also sending shockwaves through English football by signing Stan Collymore from Nottingham Forest for £8.5 million. Collymore dazzled in his first season at Anfield, striking up an exciting 55-goal partnership with Robbie Fowler that raised hope that the Reds could end their wait to win the rebranded Premier League for the first time. The duo added a further 47 goals in their second season together, but, with Roy Evans' side finishing one place further down the table in 4th, and Michael Owen emerging onto the scene, Collymore was sold to Aston Villa for £7 million. Back then the pressure on Liverpool to stem Manchester United's increasing dominance was huge. Now, Isak joins a squad that won the Premier League at a canter last season and still retains key players from the Jurgen Klopp era who have won every major trophy there is to win in club football. Still, the prodigiously talented Sweden international would not be human if he hadn't thought about his record-breaking fee, surely? Or in some way have been impacted by the way the drawn-out transfer saga played out? Collymore, who has walked in Isak's shoes, said, I think that the difference between breaking the transfer record as I did 30 years ago and now is that it's hard to adjust for inflation and work out how similar the deals were. Kieran Maguire, football finance expert, worked out that an inflation-adjusted figure for all the transfers has Alan Shearer at £250 million to Newcastle, and my move to Liverpool was maybe £216 million, so my transfer fee was really a massive outlier back then in a way that Isak's isn't. At the time, I was breaking the £7 million record for Andy Cole to Manchester United from the season before, and maybe Roy Keane before that from Forest to United. So, while there are incremental jumps these days, back then the increases were more like leaps, the equivalent of going from £150 million to £300 million within the course of a season or two. Now, though I don't think it, the size of the transfer fee matters. Players are asked less often about their fees in press conferences and at games. Kieran Maguire, football finance expert, worked out that an inflation-adjusted figure for all the transfers has Alan Shearer at £250 million to Newcastle, and my move to Liverpool was maybe £216 million, so my transfer fee was really a massive outlier back then in a way that Isak's isn't. At the time, I was breaking the £7 million record for Andy Cole to Manchester United from the season before, and maybe Roy Keane before that from Forest to United. So, while there are incremental jumps these days, back then the increases were more like leaps, the equivalent of going from £150 million to £300 million within the course of a season or two. Now, though I don't think it, the size of the transfer fee matters. Players are asked less often about their fees in press conferences and at games. Managers don't get asked much about it either, the focus is more on whether the player is settling in. It wasn't like that for me at Liverpool. Isak and Florian Wirtz, who arrived for an initial £100 million from Bayer Leverkusen in June, were the headline transfers in a summer of unprecedented spending for the Reds. The Premier League champions splashed out a record £446 million in the window, but, as Owen'S has quite rightly been keen to point out in press conferences, more than half of that outcome was funded by player sales totaling £228 million. That said, Liverpool did want to do one more deal before the window closed on September 1, only for Crystal Palace to call off the departure of their captain Mark Guéhi at the last minute. With the England international set to be out of contract at the end of the season, the Reds currently have no intention of making a fresh bid in January. But with the future of Ibrahima Konaté uncertain, the France international is also out of contract in the summer and has been heavily linked to Real Madrid. Collymore believes that situation could change. One of the reasons why Liverpool wanted to go in for Mark Guéhi was probably to have their backup ready in case Konaté didn't sign a new contract in the summer, said Collymore to 10Bet Casino. I think the club will probably have Guéhi on the back burner for the summer to replace Konaté, and I think Owen'S has already hinted they might make another move for him in January and not even wait. That move will depend on Crystal Palace and their progress in Europe. I think Konaté is a good centre-back, but he's not a great central defender, and Liverpool could find 6, 7, 8 options from around Europe, from the Premier League, from La Liga, from Serie A, from the Bundesliga that would be better central defenders to partner Virgil van Dijk. So, for me, I've always looked at this situation and gone, this isn't something to be terrified about. This is just something where Liverpool needs to be proactive and bring somebody in. And I think that somebody might be Mark Guéhi in January. Liverpool star's humble admission on splashing the cash: I was too afraid. Liverpool's Ibrahima Konaté has confessed to being too afraid to spend money due to fear of criticism from his brothers. The French defender, who is currently at the center of a transfer battle with Real Madrid showing interest, has kept his spending habits in check. Konaté's contract with Liverpool is set to expire next summer, and Real Madrid are keen to secure his services on a free transfer. This could result in the defender signing a lucrative contract with the Spanish club. Despite the uncertainty surrounding his future, Konaté has no plans to splurge, crediting his brothers for keeping him grounded throughout his career. I became the player I am today thanks to each one of them, Konaté admitted. From my first steps at Paris University Club 20 years ago to Liverpool, they have always been a fundamental help. I didn't spend anything at all on hedonistic and personal pleasures. No new car, no clothes, no shoes. Nothing. I was too afraid they'd tell me I'd changed. While his brothers helped keep his spending in check during the early stages of his career, Konaté did admit that they encouraged him to indulge a little, although he may have taken it a bit too far. He added, "I'm not going to lie to you, I overdid it a bit, especially with clothes. You have no idea how much footballers need them, family. Many people, more or less well-intentioned, roam around us. 95% of them come because I'm Konate, the football player, and not Ibrahima, the person. They want to take advantage of my fame, but they don't really care about me. As soon as someone wants to approach me, they filter them out. Konate, 26, began his professional career with French team Socox before transferring to Bundesliga side RB Leipzig. The defender racked up 95 appearances for the club prior to his move to Liverpool in 2021. Since then, he has made 142 appearances for the Reds, clinching the Premier League, FA Cup and League Cup titles during his tenure. This season could possibly be his last with Liverpool if he decides against renewing his contract with the club. Meanwhile, Konate's withdrawal from France duty due to injury has given Liverpool manager Arne Slot a minor problem to deal with. A statement released by the France national team on Saturday stated, "Injured in the right quadriceps during his last match with Liverpool, Ibrahima Konate has followed a treatment and protocol since his arrival this Monday but will not be able to take his place against Iceland."